In a few videos now, I've mentioned conscience. So let's talk about that. I'll start with the bad news and end with the good news. So first of all, conscience is the discernment of right and wrong. Therefore, it is a function of our reason, meaning that conscience is developmental. It grows over time like language, like dexterity, and is developmental precisely because it's an inseparable part of our human nature, because as humans, we are made in the image and likeness of God. So a quick example. We hold to a lower moral standard children below the age of reason and folks with cognitive impairments, not because they are less in the image and likeness of God, but because that aspect of their development has not yet developed or has been impaired in some way. In everyday life, we acknowledge that some people are unable to stand criminal trial by reason of insanity or other moral disqualifiers such as traumatic brain injuries. Furthermore, the development of conscience can be impacted by the environment and or the parenting. So if either of those tends towards evil, that will skew a child's moral development of conscience towards evil. For instance, lying, stealing, violence can be taught as goods. I worked for a couple of years with adolescent boys who had been raised in abusive homes, and some of those boys could tell the most egregious lies very convincingly. Others, at the first sign of conflict, would throw a punch. Those behaviors were learned in an environment that promoted those behaviors. And we can all agree that promoting those behaviors, whether by word or example or both, creates unhealthy, sometimes we say dysfunctional people, families, relationships, communities. In the same way, if you never teach a child to read, they'll be illiterate, and an important social function in their lives will be crippled. So an unhealthy development of conscience also cripples a necessary social function in people's lives. So, on a personal note, it concerns me deeply that we see an increase in lying, stealing, cheating, violence all across the highways and driveways of this country. And it's not limited to a particular group or a certain geography. I mean, we all want to be the righteous heroes of the story, standing up to the unscrupulous villains. But in the quiet moments of honest self-reflection, we all know that we carry this moral infection. And do any of us really want to live in a world where the ends justify the means? If it's fair for us to use corrupt tools, then it's also fair for those same corrupt tools to be used against us. Now here's the good news. Thanks for waiting. The fact that we can acknowledge our own wrongdoing and wrong attitudes means that goodness or virtue is alive in us. The other good news is that we have the choice to nurture the negative or sinful parts of ourselves that hurt ourselves and others, or nurture the positive or virtuous parts of ourselves that heal ourselves and others. So whatever our moral development has been up to this point, we can, starting now, actively pursue virtuous development of our conscience so that we are more wise in considering how our words and actions affect our family, our friends, our co-workers, and total strangers, like the lady at the Dollar General. In the next video, we'll talk about what examination of conscience is. Far from being an act of self-condemnation and self-loathing or reciting a checklist, although checklists can be helpful, it's actually a path towards freedom, self-respect, and self-confidence. Don't believe me? Check out the next video. See you in the funny paper.